What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the podcast.
We're
Talk
back.
About Him podcast, number one podcast, mental health and wellness. I'm Anthony.
I'm Barron.
Welcome back to the show. So we took a little break,
Took a little break.
but we back in the building, back in business. So how have things been, man?
It's been good. Been good.
I've been seeing you here,
Right.
But
We just ain't having recorded.
Ain't been recorded. So,
But yeah, everything's pretty good. Did some writing, did some more writing, and finalizing the Seven Prisms book. So that's Father's Day. That'll be our Father's Day this year. And it's basically, if I'm simply just talking about it, we talk about men's wellness, and we dive deep, we unpack stuff, but seldomly do we talk about certain things that are on our mind at 2:00 in the morning.
right, true.
So this book unpacks seven, or at least it discovers and explores seven different aspects of seven different men going through seven different things that we don't talk about as men publicly.
Right.
It's everything that we lay our head down and think about at 2:00 in the morning. So
When only you're up.
when only you're up.
Yes. Only you're
when
up.
only I'm up.
Because I'm
Yes.
sleeping at 2:00 in the morning.
Well, 3, 4, yeah, exactly. So it's the things that we settle when we close our eyes. It's those things that are in our heads. It's those things that keeps us up.
Yeah.
So I wanted to dive into that, and I wanted to tell it through 7 different short stories with the final 8th chapter that kind of brings it all together. So the 7 Prisms, Father's Day 2026.
Yeah.
Ebook will be out. What you got going on though? And don't be modest, because if you're modest, I'm gonna put you on blast.
This, I'm never modest. Come on, brother.
Okay.
Oh, well, so the episode will be out before Father's Day, but we'll link the book up in here anyway, so people can go buy it. Man, I'm working on so much,
Right.
So much, but I'm really my intention is to narrow things down and have a sense of focus, a sense of completion. Because I think in one of the mantles we were talking before, and I said my thing this year is having a energy of completion.
Right.
So, I'm a sports dad.
Okay.
Right?
Yes,
sports,
you are.
Sports, it's been,
Amazing track daughters.
my track daughters, my sons are
Basketball.
So what I did was I was looking at so many issues that my kids were having in sports, and there was nothing to help me, right? Especially with the academics part. So me, you, and Sean, we partner on an app called D1 AI, where
Bomb ass app too. It's a bomb app. I love it.
bomb app where it helps parents, sports parents, navigate the recruiting process and getting there, for their kid, whether they're in 8th grade, 9th grade through 12th grade. We show you exactly how your child can get to their goal, right?
Right.
And if your goal is D1, you get your free recruiting score, right? So it tells you exactly where they are now. So if you put in all your stats and everything, hey, Dad, I want to go D1. Okay, let's put in all your stats,
Right.
and let's see where you are right now. Right. So if you want to go D1, but your score says you're D3, then our app gives you the roadmap to get to D1. Right. So, we'll link it up here too.
Yeah,
right?
we'll definitely have to link it up,
that.
because
So-
I definitely wish that was around when Sean was in high school, because a roadmap. Now you're not even telling them like this is your destination. You're also telling them this is the pathway to get to where you need to get to. Right. So it's showing accountability for the student athlete. It's showing partnership between the parent and the student. It's there's levels. It's levels to this, and how dedicated do you want it? Because everybody wants to be D1.
Right.
Because the ultimate goal is to get to professional level.
Right.
But there's a lot of stuff you got to give up. There's a lot of stuff you got to sacrifice.
Yeah. And my kids are learning that right now.
Yep. And so I personally love the app. I talk about it everywhere I'm at, because I feel like if you got a kid in high school, even if you got a kid in 7th, 8th grade, start them on it as soon as you can, because with NIL deals and everything jumping off, it's so lucrative, and it's a way for everybody to be happy. The kid is happy because he's working to where he needs to get to. The parents are happy because the kid is focused.
Right.
You know, so it's a win-win situation. And you could do multiple sports, right?
Right.
See? So,
So
man.
if your kid plays more than one sport, then you can do both. So what I added, not what I added, but I'm constantly thinking of different things that based on my experience. And I was thinking, like, me going through this process of sports, I didn't have a playbook or what to do, right?
Right.
So
Can you imagine?
I wrote the sports parents playbook, right? So that'd be something that we'll talk about later on. But that's part of the process.
Exactly.
We're going through.
Yeah. So
So that wasn't the podcast subject today.
not at all, but when you're working on something like that,
right?
you gotta,
So
it's worth it. So what are we getting into today?
let's get to it. So in the news over the past, for me, a few weeks, but I guess it's been going on for a while since June 2024. The Julio Foolio case, where this I don't have the guy's name,
Right.
The rapper from Florida was murdered by, I guess stalked and murdered by 4 men, right? And I sent you a clip, and so this is a clip that we're gonna play. And actually, this one is a different one than what I sent you.
Okay.
So, what I sent you was like 15 minutes long.
Yeah, I think so.
This one it's only like a minute or so. But one of the defendant's name what's his name? Sean. I don't know where to go. Sean Gathright, right? So
Right. Mr. Gathright.
This is the video of Sean, and let's check it out.
Let's check it out. This is the first time I'm seeing this one.
Yeah, first time you've seen this one. Let me flip this around. Turn up the volume here.
Based on Mr. Gathright's age, physical abilities, things like that, do you think that the prison would benefit from him in a work capacity if he were sentenced to life without parole?
I say yes with my experience, not only just in intoxication, but as former warden and even as a jail administrator. He's someone that's young, he's healthy. In reality, we need that labor, we need that sweat equity, and we will put him out there to work.
Look at the cop in the
Because we
background,
have an aging prison population, jail administration.
His
We
response.
have that, so we put these young individuals to work and get some sweat equity out of them since they are young and actually can do the work.
And I know we talk about life without parole and death row, but for our jurors' education, in Florida, what does a life sentence without parole mean?
A life sentence in the Florida Department of Corrections means from the minute they're brought in, they're assigned an inmate number. He will be assigned an inmate number, and when he dies and leaves in a body bag, he will still have that
Based on Mr.
Go to the next one.
inmate number. An inmate serving life will never ever get out. There is no parole in the state of Florida, and they're not ever allowed outside
Crazy.
the razor wire and the fence of a secure facility.
So the only way that an inmate serving life without parole would leave is when they die by natural causes.
That inmate.
So that's what I want to discuss today, right? Is I actually want to go into the case as a whole.
Okay.
Right? So when I first watched that video, I mean, it's alarming that mentality exists, right? But going back, it's also alarming that the mentality exists that that you have to like 5 seconds of emotion will get you life in prison, right? So what I found out is that the lady who was talking and the warden was brought in, so that was his defense attorney, right? So
Right. Okay.
I thought it was a prosecution when I first saw it.
Just
right?
listening to
Just
it,
listening to
yeah.
it, right? So
Yeah.
but it's the defense attorney who actually brought in the warden to talk about why he shouldn't be put to death and why he should get life in prison because they can get some sweat equity out of this man. But it's honestly, I'm on the fence, right? One, because you committed a heinous crime, right? You took a man's life, right? And from my understanding, there's 4 defendants,
4 individuals.
right?
Yep.
So,
But we're focusing on this one individual.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I think they all got got convicted, but let's just focus on him. So I'm gonna pause there for a minute. You know, let you hop in and just give me your thoughts.
So I am on the fence. I see both sides. Being a former probation investigator, I always try to not necessarily give the benefit of the doubt, but to let the juvenile know exactly where you're headed, because the application of knowledge is power.
Right.
So my goal, and I don't necessarily believe in, and I put myself in his shoes because that's the only way you can actually know if you are for the death penalty or not.
Right.
If someone, God forbid, kills my son, I will never see him again.
Right.
Do I want the person that killed my son to die? It's too easy. If you die, it's too easy.
Yeah,
I want you in jail. I want you in jail for the rest of your life.
Right.
Never seeing daylight.
Right.
Never knowing what freedom looks like.
Right.
23 hours, 1 hour of freedom.
Crazy.
I want you locked up for the rest of your life. I want you to feel and live with the consequences of your actions every day.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily believe in capital punishment, death penalty.
Okay.
But I also feel that jail is supposed to be a place for lack of a better word, reformation. When you're in jail, you are supposed to learn how to be accountable. You learn that I'm here for a reason. I did this heinous crime, so I'm in jail. Jail is not supposed to be a resort. It's not the Marriott where you're gonna work. You're gonna do stuff that you probably wouldn't want to do if you were free.
Right.
But that's why you're in jail.
Right.
So I don't necessarily disagree with working while you're in jail. My problem is where and why is the per hour rate so low? Is that person not worth? So when you sent me the clip, I looked and I did research. I did numbers. I looked at some stuff. In Florida, I believe it was 8 cents an hour. In Florida, I consider the South, right? Mm-hmm. So certain parts of the South, Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, zero. They don't make anything per hour.
Yeah.
And looking at where the money goes, it goes to their it goes to their commissary.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, but in order for me to get deodorant, because that's not a part of your essentials, you have to pay for that. So, and I think it was an astronomical rate of like $5.
Right.
And hell, my deodorant, and I'm free, don't cost $5. So how much do I have to sweat equity to get deodorant? Again, I'm in jail. Right. I understand I did a heinous crime, but at the same time, we're not a third world country.
Right.
So I'm on the fence. If I had to side with one way or the other at this particular moment, right now, I couldn't tell you right now. I will try to figure it out at the end of this podcast, which side I want to be on.
Yeah, so that's a really good point. And sometimes I think are we asking the right questions? Right? Because we're asking the questions after the conviction that most likely 90% it will not be overturned, right? Because they have overwhelming evidence against this man and his cohorts, overwhelming. I think he's 21.
Yeah, he's young, 21, 22. Yeah.
So the question that people can be asking, even I asked at a point, it's okay, now we're asking questions about why is this warden talking about how they can use this man's muscle and brawn, but not about why this man put himself in that situation, right? Why did he think it was okay to go and take a man's life up? So I'm not sure in your research if you saw the footage from the hotel, but they had assault rifles.
Yes.
Just
and they traveled from one city in Florida to another city
to track him down.
Right. So they were super intentional.
So they were just letting off in his car as he's driving by. So like that's the question that pops up for me is so. And based on my research, he came from a middle class family, had no known record before, and he was a photographer, and just like and the guy speaks well, so it's like why. I believe our kids want to be involved in this gang life so much, but don't know the ramifications of it until after it happens.
Right.
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 So that's the question I have is like, why?
What was his why?
What was his why?
What was his
right?
why?
What was his why? And then how can we, as two people trying to, in a sense, change the world and change the world for men, what needs to happen so our young kings don't get into their 21 trying to prove something, take someone's life, goes to jail, gets convicted, and now you're being used by the system because of something that you actively chose to do.
Right. It goes back to letting our young kings know that there's consequences, good or bad. Yeah. There's consequences to every action that you take. If we're going to go that far back, then it falls on not necessarily the total responsibility, but part of it falls on the parents. And I always say this because I believe it through and through. If we're going to be leaders as men, being a leader comes with good things and it also comes with bad things. If something is happening to where my son makes a mistake in the world, I have to look at myself and say, what did or what didn't I teach him?
Yeah.
I have to look at that first. So I don't know how or what his parents taught him. What was his mindset? What was his thought process? Yeah. Who was he around? Was he around the wrong set of people and hiding it from his parents? Yeah. Was he actively acting out and the parents were too busy working to even look and see what was going on? Yeah. Which goes to, I'm thinking of those teenagers up in San Diego. I'll tell you about that later. Okay. That was crazy. But those are the things that I would look at that as far as to figure out his why. I would like to know his why, but more importantly, like there's consequences to your actions. You are going to be somebody, and if we're calling it a buck, you're going to be somebody's slave for the rest of your life. And while slavery is abolished, legally, clearly, it's still happening. Sweat equity, like that is because he's young. That's like putting him on an auction block back in the day and saying how much you want for this boy right here. You know how they used to do, where you auctioning off a human being to work for another human being, essentially for free. Right. So that's the issue I take with that. He could serve life. Yeah. He'll never need to see if he's guilty. Like we don't know. We don't know for sure, but we know from where we're at that he's guilty legally.
Well, he's guilty. I mean, he's on camera.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then he's guilty.
Yeah.
So by all means, then you should never see the light of day.
Right.
You should never be free. You should go in a number and you should die a number. I agree with everything he said. Right. It's that because he's young and basically from what I heard, he's a young boy and got a young, strong back. That's not what you heard.
No, it's just the accent was perfect. That young boy.
He's a young boy. He's a young boy and got a good, strong back, and we can get some work out of him.
That was perfect.
Like that's the wording is wrong. He needs to serve life, and he should have just left it at that.
Right.
Instead of putting all that extra, and I feel that we can get some sweat equity out of him.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. What if he was a 45-year-old man and did the same crime? Would he say the same thing?
I don't know.
I don't think he would.
I don't know. So I have three things, right? One is just me watching the trial, me watching what went down. Is that I saw his mother, right? I don't know if Dad was there, if he was in the picture, because his mom was on the stand. But I don't. And again, I didn't really do any really extensive research,
right?
But not sure if Dad was there. And then you mentioned that he was around the wrong crowd. Yeah, obviously he was. Obviously he had some influence by other men,
Right.
who put this bug in his head. Like, you know what, we can go do this. But again, he made the choice to go out there and do it.
Right.
And what's my second point? My second point was, I don't know. So I was just get to my third point. So we talk about slavery and how it's, I guess this is my second point, is the slavery portion. Is it, and this is, I'm just playing advocate and asking the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it actual slavery? Because, back in the day, we didn't choose to be slaves, right?
Right.
But if you make a choice to put yourself in a situation, is it true slavery? Because you made a choice, and that choice, I mean, you actively thought you could get away with this. I mean, I don't know how, because before the crime, you went to a drive-through and got some food, and you drove your mother's car or grandma's car. It's like you did so many retarded things that show, and in an age where there's cameras everywhere.
Big Brother's always watching.
I thought that when I was watching the footage, I thought this is an AI movie, because
Nobody's that stupid.
The angles and everything. I'm like, what? No, a lot of footage was from the hotel and Tesla cameras on cars catching everything. Dude was just spraying. I'm like, this is a movie. No, this is an actual. This actual footage. And then the third thing, something that we can talk about later on, is that the slavery issue for me is, it happened, is real.
Mm-hmm.
But in my research, I realized and found out that most of the slaves that were sold were sold by us. We sold our own people into slavery.
I'm not surprised by that.
I was surprised about that.
I'm not surprised by that.
I'm like, so you're saying our own people? Because so there was so much emphasis put on what the white man did, right?
Right.
But most of the slave trade was from us.
Mm-hmm.
That broke my heart.
It should. You got to look at, and that is something we do as a people.
What's that? What do we do?
So the ones that are closest to you can harm you.
Yeah.
Nipsey.
Yeah.
Biggie. Pop Smoke. All of these. What was the other one with the long neck?
Long neck?
What's his name? That was out in
You dead?
Roscoe's. Yeah. P&B Rock.
Right.
These are people that are. These are Nipsey. His own homeboy took him out. So we're always trying to, and I hate this about us. We always try to step on each other in order to move forward, as opposed to partnering up and being stronger together and moving forward. We do that as a people a lot.
Man.
I hate it, but I acknowledge it. That's just what it is.
I'm experiencing that right now.
We always do that. Like we'll have two things here. Another person will sell it to you. Same thing. Another person sell it to you for $5.
Yeah.
We're gonna sell it to you for $25.
Right.
Because we want. Why? Why do we do that?
Yeah.
So we always throw each other under the bus to try to get ahead.
Yeah.
And so that's the part what I meant. It doesn't surprise me.
I got you.
As opposed to other cultures that take and this is the smaller scale of it on the other side of it, but why do other cultures can live multiple families in one house?
Yeah.
And they bring everything to the table to make sure that the house is taken care of.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
We don't do that. For whatever reason, we want our space. We don't want this many people around. I get it, but that's just our mentality. We have that.
Yeah.
That's just the fact. But as far as this case goes and this gentleman, I don't know. Let me ask you this. If you were his father, would you have taken the stand?
Well,
or even been there?
I believe that no matter if you grow up with a mother, father separate together, that something can happen.
True.
Right?
Yep.
If I was his father, I would say there would be less of a chance that would have happened. Anything's possible.
True.
Right? For me, 100%. Because despite what my child did, for me is unconditional love.
Right.
I'm going to speak up for him, speak for him, and also let him know that I'm there for you, no matter what. Even though I will always see you behind a glass window from now on, but I'm there for you. And just because you committed this crime, I'm not going to stop being your father. So, 100%. And I think that's important. If dad was even around, again, I don't know.
Right.
That the child knows that. The young man knows that hey, because that can also dictate how long he lives in prison because of the mindset. Well, what, dad threw me away, dad don't want me. So yeah, I would definitely be there. But then as you're talking, I'm thinking is, even though the comment was made about sweat equity, the comment was made about he's young and strong and whatever, that does not just apply to black men.
No.
I'm sure that if he was an Asian, if he was white, if he was Hispanic, they would still have that same mentality that we're going to work this man until he dies.
True.
Right?
Yep.
But I think that if in me, I was looking at it as a black thing.
Well, you're not wrong with that, because we make up over 2/3 of the criminal inmate population.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So there are over 18,000 inmates in California alone that work and make about 18 cents an hour. 18,000.
18,000?
18,000
Wow.
in California alone.
Wow.
So imagine what it's like in the South.
So you're saying that over here in the West, we're more lenient on,
I'm saying
because over here, that in California, you can parole. He's saying there's some
there's no
possibility.
parole.
for
Yeah, that's crazy.
there.
Like now that
No matter what you do.
Now that's crazy to me. Like I would really have to look that one up, because I don't know if for a fact that, you mean to tell me there's no parole in the state of Florida?
He's an ex-warden. So,
yeah. That's crazy to me. I wonder if that applies to all South, prison systems or justice system, because California is more liberal when it comes to like death penalty and killing, killing inmates and stuff like that. But to say that I don't believe he should get parole.
Right.
You take a life.
Yeah.
You spend your life in jail.
Yeah.
You do whatever it is. You do whatever needed to be done in prison, because that's where you're gonna be for the rest of your life. But I do feel that you are. Before we were anything, we were human beings.
Yeah.
And the simple thing is, I always say this: just be a good human being.
Right.
That makes it easy to move through life. Just be a good human being. And if somebody took the life of one of mine, I want them to spend the entire rest of their life miserable in jail, regretting that, reliving that situation in their head over and over again, because that in itself is a sentence within a sentence.
Yeah.
So I definitely want that to happen.
So it's Florida. Florida has no parole. Virginia, Mississippi, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, and Minnesota. So there's about 16 states that have no parole for inmates for offenses.
Okay.
Which is
And those states were what again?
Virginia, Mississippi, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Minnesota. But this there's about 16, and of course do your own research because I'm just reading.
I would love to know what the crime rate is in those states.
Yeah, true.
Because what a deterrent if you know that if I do a crime, I'm gonna.
I don't think they know though, man.
I know.
So
yeah.
If he knew that there's a possibility for me to get paroled, and if he knew Florida's laws, I don't know, because emotion trumps all logic when you're in the situation.
And you don't necessarily think that far down the line.
But let me ask you this: Do you think it's actual true emotion? I'll say true emotion, because I know that there's some there. If you plan this, if you track this person down, if you went and bought guns, if you did all this premeditation, is that really, are you truly really acting in a impulse emotional state?
I don't think you are.
You're not.
I think you planned it. You drove from one. Even if you take out all the specifics, you drove from one county in Florida to another county in Florida with the intent on killing an individual. That's premeditated right there.
Right.
So the fact that you purchased guns, went to get something to eat, all of that stuff, like that was all premeditated. What, you can't kill on an empty stomach?
Yeah. Went to Walmart wearing the same clothes that you committed the murder in.
So again, and then that's just not smart. Like, you're not thinking stuff all the way through. You didn't even try to do it right. Like whatever right is, but I'm just like, that's not a way to go. So yes, it's premeditated. Yes, you made this easy for the prosecutor.
Easy.
And you found out at the last minute, oh, I don't get parole. I can't get parole.
And crying and whatnot.
And you're remorseful.
Yeah.
You should be, but at the same time, somebody's without a father. Somebody's without their son. Somebody's without, that you've taken someone's life. There's nothing you can say, do to bring that person back.
Would you be remorseful if you didn't get caught? That's the question I have.
Would I be remorseful?
Well, not you. I'm saying, is he remorseful because if he did not get caught, would he be as remorseful? I mean, no one knows.
No one knows. You would have to know. The only person that would truly know are his parents.
Yeah, or even him.
Yeah,
right.
Or him. Yeah. But to say yes or no would be me trying to get into his thought process.
Yeah,
and I think that he's remorseful because he knows that his life is over. His free life is over.
Yeah,
as we know it. Yeah. And now he's a number for the rest of his life.
He's a number
for the rest of his life. So, like I said, that's a life sentence within a life sentence.
Yeah, I can't even fathom that. And part of me, because part of me is human, and like this is like tapping into my greatest superpower and greatest weakness is my empath side, right? Mm-hmm. Part of me feels bad for the guy, right? It's like just looking at his face and knowing, like, man, I screwed up, right? But part of me doesn't, because he took the life of someone's son, right? Maybe even father, cousin,
right?
So I'm definitely more on the side. I feel bad for him, not because of what he did, but because of where he came from, and he made a decision that changed the trajectory of his whole life, because he listened and made a choice to do what other people put. Because if you look at the video of his life, I mean, it's like, dude was not from no bad area, no gang infested area. Mm-hmm. Smart, intelligent, had a photography business, right? Mm-hmm. And his mom, was, she was educated. So I feel sorry because he made a bad choice because of what. This is why I do my best to monitor what my son looks at, right? Because the influence is crazy, right? My son's in the stage, and if he watches this, I don't care.
He better watch this.
He's in a stage where he's 14, and I'm constantly telling him, pull up your fucking pants, right? He has his pants off his butt. I said, son, why do you wear your pants like that? I don't know. Well, you should know, right? Not only are you representing yourself and me, which is secondary for me, mm-hmm. The first thing is that you live in a world where people want to prove something. You're going to be walking down the street, riding your bike, they're going to see your pants hanging down. Where you from? Right? Because they're going to assume because you're sagging that
you affiliated.
At least in my head, right?
Yeah. And that's just where we come from.
Maybe it's a fashion statement, but to me, it's like that's a thought. And if you say, "Oh, I don't know," they ain't gonna or nowhere. No, I don't know, but nowhere they're gonna believe you,
right?
And plus, it looks stupid, right? You have a belt, pull it up. So I'm constantly saying, pull your pants up, and he gets mad. I'm like, bro, I'm tired of saying it.
Right.
Just pull them up.
Just pull them up. Yeah.
So, and I know because he's on TikTok and Instagram watching how people dress, and I'm like, you're the only kid I know that sags in basketball. Put your pants up, right?
His basketball shorts, he sags.
Bro.
How do you play? You can't hoop that way.
Plus, my son he's narrow, right? So he doesn't have a ass,
Yeah.
right? So, but it's no excuse, right?
Right.
You know, put your pants up,
Right.
So it's just those influences that are out there that people are looking at, and it's really crazy how the media shows us exactly what's going to happen, exactly what happened if you do X, Y, Z. Because you see these movies where people are going to jail for life. You see these documentaries. Do you think it's like not real, or you know what? It won't happen to me.
Yep. It can't happen to me. I'm smarter than that.
And then what happens? It
Right.
happens to you.
And it happens to you. I do want to go back to what you were saying. Like you felt, the part of you felt sorry for him because of how he was raised, how he came up. The defense attorneys did their job then, because they didn't want to show you the person that was part of a premeditated murder.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to show you a photographer,
Yeah.
someone who was raised right, who had his own business, who had both parents, and now they wanted to show you that part,
Right.
so that you can be a little bit lenient. But the fact of the matter is, that person who was raised right, that person who had a photography business, that person who had no reason to do this, did it. Did it. Willingly. He wasn't coerced. He wasn't forced. He has multiple images on camera. Mm-hmm. These are the facts. And that's why I always tell people, facts cannot be argued. You cannot argue facts. Right. Those are the facts. This is why we're here. So this is why. And so you've done this as a result of this. This is your consequence.
Right.
And so now what we need to do is start educating our sons, or those that are around us, anybody that's attached to us, that there's consequences. Whether you like it or not, there's consequences to your actions, from wearing your pants down to speaking with your head down to giving weak handshakes to not knowing what's next for you, to not having accurate, specific answers, to not standing 10 toes down, to not being a man of your word, to not buckling down to peer pressure, to not cutting people off if you know that person is not good for you. If you know it's going to lead to driving from Tampa to wherever, Jacksonville, wherever the crime was, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I just thought about a scene from Boys in the Hood.
Okay.
Remember when Cube and his crew were going to go take revenge on killing Ricky?
Yeah.
And Cuba got in the car. He was down for whatever.
Yeah.
Till he realized, I'm not down for whatever.
No.
I respected him more when he said, let me out. Let me out. Because I'm not about that life. This ain't me. He realized that wasn't him, and he immediately corrected his action. That was not him. If I'm thinking about it now, that was not him. That was his stern father that was all in his ear.
And to think about that as well as that, and I just realized just now, is that he knew it wasn't him, but so did Doughboy, because Doughboy just stopped and let him out and didn't say anything. So he knew it wasn't him as well too.
Right.
So I mean, honestly, those are the kind of homeboys you need, right? So I'm down for you if you do it, but if not, cool. You know what? Go do your thing, right? But obviously, Mr. Gathright didn't have those type of homeboys.
He didn't have those homeboys. I tell people all the time. I tell this story when I was growing up, high school, playing ball everywhere, every park you can think of in California, play ball. But St. Andrews was my park.
Yeah.
And
mine was Darby Park.
Yeah. I played at Darby too. But it was too red over there. so I played at St. Andrew, and I used to play with a bunch of dope dealers, gangsters, just hardcore dudes, right? But they could hoop. Yeah. And I wanted to play with men so that I can get stronger, so that I can be able to stand on my own as a man. Mm-hmm. So they taught me how to play as a man on the court. Yeah. Now, when they would leave, I'd be like, what y'all about to get into? And, we about to go do this, we're gonna pull this little leg, little whatever. I was like, oh, dope, we done, let's go. Let's roll. Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. This ain't you, bro.
I love that.
You go to school, you play ball. This ain't you.
That's you, yeah.
Yeah. you stay on the court or go home.
Yeah.
That's not you. So imagine if they wouldn't have said that and let me roll with them.
You wouldn't be sitting here probably.
I definitely would not be sitting here right now.
And more importantly, he wouldn't be sitting there.
He wouldn't be sitting there either. So, and we always talk about legacy and all of that. What would my legacy look like at that point?
You'd be a number. Inmate number 17, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Or 6 feet.
Or
6 feet. It's a fact. These are just facts. You know, I would one of the two.
Is there a difference between being in jail for life and 6 feet? It's like, is there a difference? I'm like, just take me out now.
Yeah, I mean, prison is.
I've never been there, so I don't know, but
I've never been to prison, but I have seen jail.
Yeah.
And there's a difference, and I don't want to do jail either.
yeah, I hear you.
You know, it's not something that you're told when to eat. You're told when to go to sleep. You're told when to wake up. You're told what you can't have. You can't, you know. And you know, you're not wearing do-rags in prison the way you're not brushing your hair with the right. You're not doing that.
Bro, I think they are, because I saw these pictures of this guy in jail. He had creased pants, some Jordans on, and
Don't let the smooth taste
hat.
fool you.
I'm like, is this really prison?
Mm-hmm. And that's what they want you to think. Oh, I could survive in prison. I could do a bid. Okay. Let's see how that works. Okay. Because you have to have the necessary skills to navigate prison life. Yeah. And if you don't, I don't know what to tell you. Things gonna happen to you that you might not want to happen to you. Yeah. So I always express that on my kids to be cognizant of and be aware of who you're around. Yeah. Because if they're doing something and you know they're potentially doing something and you guys are just driving from here to Riverside or, you know, from wherever, and you know he's got something in the trunk, guess what? Both of y'all are going down.
Both of y'all going down.
They don't care. They swooping everybody up, and we'll figure the rest out later in court.
Everybody catching the case.
Everybody catching the case. So now you're in the system.
They said that it was over 100 counts, and they got convicted of every single count.
Yep.
How rare is that? Every single count? Over 100?
Well, they made it easy for them. You got everything on video.
Bro.
They probably posted, you know, who knows? They probably posted afterwards, like, you know.
I think they went to a party afterwards. And he said, well, it was my sister's birthday. I'm like, so tell me that, where's the remorse if after the crime you went to a party and to go hang out? So, you know.
Now you're not remorseful either.
I get it. I mean, you know, I get it. You know, you should do life and like never ever see the sunshine ever again.
You should never be free.
Never be free.
Never.
You know, if you can't do the time, they say, don't
do the crime.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's just unfortunately that, I mean, his life is he's so young, 21, and basically his life is over in the reality of you will never ever be in
free world
society ever again.
Nope.
And I can't imagine, even at 50, I can imagine spending the next 50 years behind bars. So he's 21. So say he lives to 80. What's that? 70 years? No, 60 years?
Yep. 60 years.
60 years behind bars, working and toiling and sweating, and it's that's just unimaginable for me. And
for 8 cents an hour.
For 8 cents an hour, bro. Even for $100 an hour, it's like I still couldn't. I could never be out in society, hanging out, you know, seeing my kids, hugging my girl, or whatever. I can't do that ever again.
Yep.
But it happens every day, and you know, and I think that a lot of these guys or people, no matter what race you are, commit these crimes because there is somebody that they know or heard of that did it and got away with it. So I think, you know what, if that person did it, you know, so can I. But like you said, there's no smart way to do it. But if it's your plan, be a little more strategic. But you know, if you're out there killing people because you want to, you know, I don't like I'm killing them. Your ass should be in jail.
Yeah. And then I would always. This is how I kind of like move in life. If I do this, what could happen? What's the worst thing that can happen if I do this? Yeah. Am I fine with that? Mm-hmm. If I am, then I probably will do it. Yeah. If I'm not, the cost is too high, bro. I can't. I love my freedom way too much. I can't. Oh, we got a foolproof plan. Keyword is fool.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Right.
I'm cool. I don't want to take that risk. Remember that old survival commercial? You want to get in my car? Insurance commercial?
Yeah.
You want to get in my car? I can't take that ride. It's the same. It's the same way. You look at it as, before I do this, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
What's the worst thing that can happen? Like I told you, I played ball longer than I was supposed to. Yeah. I knew what I was doing. I said, if I continue to do this, what's the worst thing that can? I'm gonna have a cold. My week is gonna be rough. Is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. I'm so glad.
Some things are.
Yeah. But I'm showing like a tangible example.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we had an elevator, because I don't know. I seen a lady take the stairs and I was like, no.
Right, you 6 floors up.
Not doing that. Exactly. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna. Normally I would have, probably nah. But there's consequences to your actions, good or bad. I think that is the crust of it all. Like, there's consequences to your actions.
Yeah.
And you have to look at if I did this, what's the worst that could happen? And then when you start to move like that, I think it makes it a lot easier for you, or it makes the decision clearer for you to decide what you want to do or what you don't want to do, and stand 10 toes down on it. Because I would respect somebody to tell me that than they would to just, a go along.
Something that comes up as you're speaking is like, a lot of times people know that they should be, I should not be doing this.
Right.
So, but when you're caught up in like, I'm not no punk, and you're doing things because you don't want your boys to think that you're a punk or anything, and then, you know what? I'm not gonna listen to my conscience. I'm listening to them. And then that's what also gets you in trouble too, because you don't listen to what your gut says. Listen to yourself. Like, maybe I shouldn't be here, but I don't want to feel like I'm a punk. So I'm gonna go ahead so I can get the approval of my boys, who in a second will sell you out for a piece of pizza.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing, when you eliminate trying to seek approval from people, you lock in a little bit. You're a little bit more focused.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the hardest things for people. We always seek approval. We always want likes. We always want mentions. But that shouldn't validate you, man or woman.
Yeah.
That shouldn't validate you as a person. If that's not for you, it's not for you. Knowing who you are is more important than knowing who you think you are.
Yeah.
There's just certain things that I don't have a problem saying, nah, that's not for me. It doesn't make me a punk.
Yeah.
It makes me clear and focused.
Yeah.
And if you can't understand that or respect that, then that shows me too that maybe I don't need to be around you, because you don't respect me the way I respect me.
Yeah.
So like you always say this shit, and I say this like once a month. You always say this. You teach people how to treat you.
Yeah.
You teach people how to treat you. If you take everything and you just go along with everything, people are gonna know. Well, I'm just gonna call Anthony. He gonna tell me what I want to hear anyway. He gonna roll with me.
Right.
As opposed to saying, I'm gonna call Anthony and see if he, let me run this by him. He always gives me great feedback. Trusting that person to give you sound advice.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. You got to make sure you have people around you that you trust, that you can be transparent with, that gives you sound advice.
Yep.
And then you can take that information, reflect on it, add it to whatever you have, and then out comes possible decision.
Yeah.
So
because I think at the end of the day, if the person that you're keeping it real for, or be a punk in front of, if they get the right pressure, they're gonna fold, right?
Hell yeah.
Have you seen I think it's called Ken and Pell, that old
sketch comedy
show?
Uh-huh.
There was a skit that I saw. The two friends were sitting outside the interrogation room. It's like, he's like, he won't snitch. That's my boy from way back when. He will not snitch, I promise. Dude comes out of the D with the cops, laughing and giggling, eating pizza, drinking a shake. He's like, "Did you snitch?" No. But it's like, with the white pressure, and a slice of pizza, you gonna snitch, and then he threatened me, say, if you told I'm gonna kill this and kill that, he walked back in the room, the cop and came back out driving a little Escalade. That was hilarious. But
so they will, if it's gonna be me or you, it's not gonna be me.
Right.
Right. And that's just a fact. Why would I sacrifice myself for you?
Right.
And we both did dirt.
Right.
Like if I can get 5 years less than you, and by throwing you on the bus, well, he was a driver.
Yeah.
It was his idea.
Yeah.
I was just in the back seat. So you gotta realize that certain people, most people, honestly, will throw you under the bus if it was them
To
or
save
you.
them.
Yeah.
Right.
Most people will do that.
So don't get put in that situation.
Just don't get put in that situation.
I know it's hard, and and I know how people grow up, and I'm not ever or one to judge anybody. I don't know what these guys were thinking.
Right.
I don't know what was in their mind, so I can't judge them based off my perspective because I don't know theirs.
Right.
But however,
the facts are the facts.
the facts are the fact.
Right.
You did it. You now regret it, and I don't know what the lesson is in it for them, because I don't think they can. Maybe they can, teach some other kid coming up, right? So maybe that's what the lesson is. But
they got a lifetime to figure it out.
A lifetime to figure it out, but for me, it really talks to me about how part of our journey, our mission is to, because I always thought that my mission, our mantle, our truth about him, our mission for mental health was for men our age, but it's not. It's catching them before they get to our age, because at our age, they can already be in jail at 21.
Right.
So catch them at 13, 14, 15 is a part of what I want to start implementing, because that's where those are the formative years, right? And I was told that even at 13, 14, or 12, the kid that's already, their model of the world is already formed at 12 years old. So maybe even it's before then, but I know that we have to reach back and grab these kids, because, like you said, there is so many of us, that are in the prison system.
Yeah.
And we have to figure out a way to get that number down. Yeah. And because it's needed. And maybe, I don't know, there's so much we got to talk about, but I know that, I pray for those four young men who are in jail, and I pray for the family that they impacted. But looking at it from your side and my side, and it's like, if you did that, you're done. You're done. So.
And everything that comes with it, because whether good or bad, whether we agree with it or not, the sweat equity, whatever, that's a consequence of your actions, in the state of Florida. Right. That is their consequence. If you do this, then you will get this. So, and that is what we have to look at. Like, I do feel sorry for the Julio Foolio's family. I just had to say it. This just sounds crazy. I feel sorry for his family and all those that are impacted, but I also feel sorry for the shooters' families as well, because now their son is taken away from them. Everything, his potential is taken away, snuffed right from underneath them. So I do feel sorry for the parents having to feel like we've done our best, we've done everything we can, and everything is, taken out from underneath us. So, I do feel for them. But as far as those convicted, and this is coming from my probationary side, I don't feel sorry for them.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't feel sorry. They deserve everything that they get while being locked up for life. I just think that they should go in a number and come out a number and die a number.
Yeah, it's just business as usual. I mean, what that guy said. I mean, that's just the nature of the prison system.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether you agree with it or not.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of it. So, Michelle, for some closing, anything?
Just make sure that that you know the consequences of your actions and think before taking that first step. If you have to question it, think about the ramifications before, and get with somebody you trust. That's why mentors are so important.
Yeah.
I would tell you, if you don't have a mentor, find a mentor.
Yeah.
If you don't have someone that you can trust to bounce things off of, find that person.
Yeah.
Because we all could use that. Hell, I have one. So, it's important that you find your mentor.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
If your homeboy or home was telling you, man, do this, and it's not good, that's not your mentor.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. So, I think that's all I got, bro.
All right.
That's all I got.
All right, fam. So thank you for watching the episode. It feels good to be back in the saddle.
We're back.
Back with my guy here. So, as always, like, share, subscribe to the podcast, and put this out to someone who needs it, because there's someone who needs this podcast. So we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.